Welcome to Loving Life's Journey with your host, Linda Wilson. Loving Life's Journey is a heartwarming show that explores the simple pleasures and profound moments that make life worth living. Linda will share stories of hope, resilience, and the power of human connection, celebrating the joys that bind us together. Loving Life's Journey is your invitation to revel in the beauty of everyday miracles and the love that surrounds us all. So now, please welcome the host of Loving Life's Journey, Linda Wilson.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I'm Linda Wilson, and welcome to Loving Life's Journey. I'm so glad you're able to stop by today and join us. Today, I wanted to share a little bit about two of the most powerful words in the English language. And I'm going to take this time this morning to kind of guide you through how the words I am can change your world and change your whole outlook on it. So there is a free workbook to accompany this lesson, and I think he'll put the link up there for you. You can download it by copying that and going to get it if you didn't already get a chance to do so. I think it's also in the Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook Live, it's in that area as well. So let's look at this idea of our own I amness as a creative being. We have dominion over all things because that's our birthright. Now, we're co-creators and we're able to design our own life. Fabulous. But what does that really mean, right? To answer that, we're going to need to understand the mind, not the brain, but the mind. And so let's pull up that stickman graphic and let's look at the stickman figure created by Dr. Thurman Fleet in the 1930s. Now, this is a very high-level, 30,000-foot overview of the stickman. In one of the programs that I offer, fully resourced, I cover this in a lot more detail, but this will give you enough to go on for now. So that large circle is the mind. The small circle is the body, and they're labeled. Make it easy for you. Now, the line across the middle of the mind divides the mind into two parts. There's the conscious mind, which is at the top, and the bottom part is the subconscious mind. Now, these two parts of the mind do two very different things. Our conscious mind is where our free will lies. It's our ability to choose, and it's where our awareness lies, our ability to think our thoughts. With this part of our mind, we can accept and we can reject any idea that we want. And the conscious mind keeps us focused on the what and the how. What do I want? How am I going to do it? It's focused on the doing part of us as a human being. Now, the subconscious mind is our feeling mind, our emotional mind. And this is where our identity, our self-belief, and our self-image live. The subconscious mind has to do with our beingness. It holds our self-image. And our self-image isn't just the image we have of ourselves, but it's also the image we believe the world has of us. Now, the self-conscious mind also holds our self-esteem and our personal self-regard. It's where I hold my value of me and my perception of how the world values me. This is also where our self-belief, those values that are really important to us, lives. Now, when you put them all together, our self-image, our self-belief, and our self-esteem, that creates our self-identity. And I am statements help to fortify our self-identity. So we seek to express our self-identity and to advance it. And one of the ways we can do that is through creating our own I am statements. Now, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. What that means is we speak existence into existence, our life and our results. Now, as a coach, when I work with clients, one of the first things we talk about is what they want. And many times they start talking about what they don't want. what's not working for them. Now, I know when I was working with my first coach, I'd say, I'm broke. Now, listen to the words, I am broke. I could have been describing my financial situation. Now, I have a friend who occasionally talks about being on the struggle bus. Now, I'd never heard that expression before, but immediately I knew what she meant. And it brought up a powerful visual of something kind of like this. Now, I'm on the struggle bus. It's not who she is, it's what she was experiencing right at that moment. But her subconscious mind can't tell it's not what she wants. So it hears, I'm on the struggle bus. And it says, okay, here you go. Your wish is my command. Think about when you say, I'm afraid. I am afraid. Now, there are many times in my life when I was afraid, and thinking about being afraid didn't make it any better. It didn't get, I didn't get brave thinking about being afraid. It was telling my mind the wrong thing. When I make a mistake, most of the time I say, I'm so stupid. I am stupid. And when I feel lazy or feel like I haven't been productive, I'm so lazy. I am lazy. And that would describe my state of mind. Now, most of the time when we're using those words, we're more describing our behavior, but it makes us start to judge ourselves. Now, listen to the words. I am broke. I am lazy. I am stupid. They're pretty harsh, right? Now, my mentor, Paul Martinelli, constantly reminds us to be gentle on yourself, to give yourself grace. And one of the things I remember him teaching is if you talk to your friends the way you talk to yourself, would you have very many friends? That one always stuck with me because I'm very harsh on myself when I talk to myself. Now, we live in this space where this experiment of life is an exercise of awareness, not judgment. And these things, we don't just do it to ourselves, but other people can do it to us. Now, in my younger days, I had very little self confidence, and I would easily take to heart anything said to me, good or bad. And it was my senior year in high school, and I was meeting with a counselor to talk about my plans after graduation. So she sat there, chin on her hand, looking at me as I talked. And I was telling her about my dreams, my plans for college and beyond. And when I finished, she said, you have the biggest brown cow eyes. That was her response to my dreams, my plans, my aspirations. I have cow eyes. Now, I struggled with my weight in high school and I had just lost 40 pounds. So any reference to me and cows was not what I wanted to hear. Now, I had poured out my heart to her with my dreams, and she totally didn't hear me, didn't listen to me. Like I said, my self esteem wasn't very good, and that didn't help me one bit. I talked about my dream of being a photographer, of traveling the world taking photos, the most beautiful places on earth. And she says, cow eyes. So I said, moo. I walked out. And for years, I allowed that experience to be proof that I had nothing to say important enough for people to listen to me. Excuse me. And I let that experience make me feel like I had nothing to contribute to society, that my thoughts, my dreams, my words meant nothing, and I meant nothing. I was a nonentity. Now, I know that wasn't true, but I allowed her to make me feel less than important, less than worthy, less than human. And that's still something I wrestle with today. with all the growth I've done, that still comes up. Now, one thing I have taken away from that is I really do have big brown cow eyes. They're one of my favorite features, and I highlight them whenever I can. And it's one of the reasons I'm such a good listener, because I know what it feels like to not be heard, to not be important enough to pay attention to. So when I'm with someone, I give them my full attention. The phone goes on Do Not Disturb, and I look them in the eye, and I just listen. It's one of the things that makes me a great coach. I don't just hear you, I listen to you. I feel what you're saying, and it allows me to ask the next questions to help guide you towards the solution that you already have inside you. So, words are powerful because they have meaning, they carry weight, and they create feeling. The words we say and think to ourselves over and over create feeling within us. So, if the words we're saying and thinking to ourselves are harsh, we're creating the feeling that we're probably trying to stop. Think about it. If you say, I'm broke, does that give you a good feeling? Or does it weigh you down, make you feel bad? When I would say I'm broke, I would feel stupid, upset with myself, and I would feel like a failure. And the more I said it, the more I felt that way, and the more it became my lifestyle. Well, you've heard of a self fulfilling prophecy, right? That's what that became for me. Because I kept saying it, kept feeling it, and it kept happening. And not just because I said it, but because I thought it. Thoughts are energy, and like attracts like. So the energy I'm putting out is the energy I'm attracting and getting back. It's the same for everyone. So, what thoughts are you putting out there? What energy are you broadcasting? Think about that for a moment. Just think about where you are right now this morning. What's your energy like? What are you sending out to the world? This is how I am. So, our subconscious mind can't distinguish between what we do and do not want. All it hears and feels is what we tell it, verbally and internally. Now, our subconscious mind is really cunning, and that's dangerous talk when we claim an I amness. So I kept telling it, I am broke. And it said, as you wish. Now, by law, this is how the subconscious mind works. As it does for me, it does for all of us. So these two words, I am, are the most powerful words you could ever speak. They're creative words, definitive words. I claim an I am. I often fail to separate my being from my behavior. So think about that. Think about that, and we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper into how I am is creative and definitive. Don't go away.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. If you're getting any value out of the show today, please give us a like and give us a follow and give us a share. You know, that's what this is for, to share with people. And before the break, we were talking about I am and how they're the two most powerful words in the English language. And it's because whenever you say I am, what follows your subconscious mind takes as a directive. So when you say, I am broke, I am stupid, your subconscious mind takes that in. And the subconscious mind is deductive. It has no ability to reason and it can't reject the idea. So it accepts that idea as a desired future state and it begins to create that state in our being. So if you're saying, I am broke, it says, gotcha. How can I make that stay? How can I make that become a reality? So our subconscious mind begins to immediately try to create those conditions and circumstances within us. And we end up misusing these kind of statements where we don't speak the truth. So one of the things you could do instead of saying I'm broke, you could easily speak the truth by using up until now. So instead of saying I'm broke to describe my financial situation, I could use the truth is up until now, I've lacked the resources to be able to do that, be that, or have the things I want in life, but I'm changing that. Like with habits, we want to change. The past that actually does the behavior is part of our subconscious mind. It's automatic and it's the same old familiar pattern. So we have to try to break that and teach the subconscious mind the new one that makes more sense. So think about it. Do you hate Mondays? And are they always bad? Several years ago, I stopped hating Mondays and started loving Mondays. And I love that I get to start the week with the mindset I decide to have. Now, in the working world, all of my coworkers hated Mondays. We had mandatory staff meetings that were really just gripe sessions, and everyone hated the Monday morning meetings. So I decided that I was going to start off my week on a positive note, not a negative one. I would get into work at 7. I'd get to see the sunrise on my way in. I'd have time to enjoy the beauty of it. I'd get there a little early and walk around. I would sit at my desk, get my emails read, and set things up for the rest of the day. And I started bringing in donuts to the meeting. At least people weren't griping as much if their mouths were full. And I created the atmosphere I wanted to be in. Mondays got a lot better because I set the expectation and made it happen for me, and it carried over to others. Now, here's the thing. We will surrender what we want for what is familiar every single time. Even if what's familiar doesn't serve us, even if it's not getting us the results we want. As soon as it becomes too much effort, you don't want to go through the process of change. You need to really want it. You need to be focused in order to make that change. Now, one of the biggest mistakes we make when setting goals is we set them based on what we know we can do, and there's no real inspiration there. You need to step outside your comfort zone and create something beyond the conditions and circumstances you already have. See, when we fail, there's loss of time, social status, money, all kinds of negative attachments to failing. If the reward isn't great enough, why would you stay in that place of failure? You wouldn't. If you're going to set a goal, make it big enough to inspire you to go through that pain process. When our son was about 7 years old, my husband got an amazing job offer. The job meant we had to move from Omaha, Nebraska to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Now, our son was still in school, so Jeff went out in January to start. His first week on the job, they had a huge snowstorm. They got about 2 feet of snow. And Jeff, being new, wasn't sure about what the process was for snow days. This was in the early 90s. And so at his old job in Omaha, you weren't allowed to skip work because of snow unless they closed the store. Well, he figured it was the same working for the government. So that morning, he bundled up and walked 2 miles in the drifting snow to get to work, only to find that they were closed. And in the meantime, Randy and I were at home trying to finish the school year, and me finished working, and we were all miserable of being apart. Cheyenne and Omaha are about 500 miles from each other. That's about an 8-hour drive. So Jeff would come home every other weekend to visit. And I hated work even more than I had before he left. Randy missed his dad so much. So we found Randy's school in Cheyenne, and I gave my notice. And on St. Patrick's Day that year, we took the U-Haul, towed our truck, and started driving to Wyoming. About midnight, we were still 4 hours from Cheyenne, so we stopped at a motel to get a room. And we weren't thinking. It was St. Patrick's Day and all the hotels were full, so we had to press on. So in backing up the U-Haul, I knocked the truck off the tow bar. So it's freezing. It's dark, and we're trying to hook the truck back up. That wasn't working. So we had to empty the cab into the cab of the U-Haul and then drive both trucks until we could find a place to sleep. Now, we should have just kept driving through the night, but I hate driving on St. Patrick's Day. There's way too many drunks out, and we had our son with us. I just didn't feel safe. So we found a place to stay, and the next day we drove and we were in our new home. Now, we could have given up. We could have said, this is a sign we're not supposed to move. Because, our families didn't want us to go. But we knew what we were supposed to do. So we went through, I'm only shared a little bit. It was awful. When you have a rental truck, they only give you one key. I locked it in the truck. And we had our dog in the truck. And we'd go out, we got a hanger, and we were trying to lock the truck, and every time we get it unlocked, the dog would lock it again. It was ridiculous. We knew this is what we were supposed to be doing, so we just kept pushing through. Now, you hear people say, I like things just the way they are. When you say you like things just the way you are, you're announcing your ignorance to the law of growth. See, we create patterns when we're living the I amness from those I ams that don't serve us. So, now that it's in your awareness this week, pay real close attention because life and death begins in the tongue. Pay close attention to what you're speaking into existence for your life. Pay close attention to what you're claiming your I ams are. There are 6 key points for change. Now, number 1, stay part of a community of like-minded people. Find a community because you've got to do this yourself, but you can't do it alone. So join a community where you're supported in the idea and supported with really good teaching. Now, I belong to several, and I just started another one called Living Life's Journey, and We'll have the guys put the link up here. You can copy that and go join that. We're just getting that started. And it's a place where you can come and be supported in your ventures so that you're not doing things on your own. And number two, operate from a level of awareness rather than judgment. Enter into observational thinking. Oh, I love this. Catch yourself when you're saying an I am that doesn't serve you, and then say, isn't that interesting? So when you speak something that doesn't serve you, like, I am broke, immediately say, isn't that interesting? Because that sends a message to your unconscious mind that when we find something interesting, we're looking for something outside of us. So separate yourself from it. Catch yourself speaking an I am that doesn't serve you and immediately correct it with a statement that does. Do that by speaking truth. When you say something like, I'd love to go for drinks, but I'm broke, don't let those words stand unchallenged. Say, you know what? Let me correct that. Up until now, I haven't had the resources to do that, but I'm working on it. Immediately speak the truth because the truth will set you free. When you catch yourself not speaking the truth, create a new I am. So, number one is find a community of like minded people. Number two is operate from a level of awareness, not judgment. Number three, work on yourself and apply the principles. Make time to do the work. Commit to it. Another one of my mentors, Roddy Galbraith, teaches that commitment shows up in three places. It shows up in our date book, in how we spend our resources, and in our relationships. So make change a priority. Number four, write out your goal and then write out in detail the person you would need to become to achieve the goal. Because the purpose of the goal is not to get the goal, it's to become the person who can achieve the goal. The purpose of having a purpose, a vision, and a goal is to cause you to become the person that can achieve those things. It's to cause you to have the I amness, to have the being. So each I am statement is an idea. So this idea that I am a great speaker or I am rich, that's an idea. And idea is a thought, and thought is energy. So the I am statement is energy. Energy is 100% evenly present in all places at all times. I can close my eyes, go forward in time, and see myself as a great speaker. Remember, our subconscious mind has no ability to reject that idea, and it experiences what is real and what is imagined in exactly the same way. I can feel being a really great speaker. What does it feel like to me? I can go to a future state and I can anchor that feeling in me. Then I can come back to the full presence of awareness of this life and I can claim the I amness. Because even though it hasn't happened yet in physical form, I know we simultaneously live on three planes of existence. We're spiritual beings, we have an intellect, and we live in a physical body. So let's think about that and let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to go more into how these I am statements, how you create them, and how you use them. Don't go away.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic, Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, everyone. And Linda Wilson here. I'm your host for Loving Life's Journey. And today we're talking about the two most powerful words in the English language, I am. And before the break, we were talking about 6 steps you can take to get you to where you're going. So we were partway through. So number 1 is to join a community of like-minded people. And number 2 is to operate from a place of awareness and not judgment. And number 3 is to work on yourself. So I mentioned before the break that we live on 3 planes of existence simultaneously. We're spiritual beings, we have an intellect, and we live in a physical body. Everything's created twice. First, in the mind of an individual as an idea. That's the lawful process. So this camera I'm looking into, this chair I'm sitting on, everything in this room around me was created 2 times. First, the idea, the thought of it, and then the physical manifestation of it. And that's the lawful process. Now, from this place, I can begin to live my life knowing what the future state of energy is. Because I can look at my life, I can find people in relationships that aren't a match, and I can begin to let them go. I can find things in my home that aren't a match and begin to let them go. Like Elsa from Frozen, let it go. I can look at my habits and behaviors and see what needs to change. And I'll be gentle on myself and say, isn't that interesting? Claim your truth. So again, join a community of like-minded people. Operate from a place of awareness, not judgment. Work on yourself. Number 4, write out your goal. Then write out in detail the person who you would need to become to reach it. Number 5, after you've identified your goal and how to become the person that brings that result forward, then you write out your I am statements. I am useful, I am rich, etc. And then you begin to anchor it. And the way you anchor it is you do it in front of the mirror. So you write your I am statements on paper, stand in front of your mirror, and identify the I am. So look at your paper and say, I am rich. Look directly into the mirror and say, I am rich. And close your eyes and bring forward that stored memory of how you would feel being rich. Close your eyes, feel it, and anchor it. And then do the next one until you've done all of them. Now do it just like this. Don't look for shortcuts. All this is going to cost you is a little bit of time. But by doing this every single day, you're invoking the tool of autosuggestion. And I can go in, my other lessons, I could tell you a little bit more about autosuggestion, but basically you're telling yourself over and over what you want to become, and it starts to become true. So, to grow, you've got to get outside your comfort zone. When you do, you're going to hit the terror barrier. You're not going to want to do it. You're going to go back to your comfort zone. But you want to step outside your comfort zone and be uncomfortable, because that's where the growth happens. And the uncomfortable, the inconvenient, the frustrating, and the confusing. So you begin to write out your I am statements, and you start writing some I ams that you aren't. Now, there's some I ams that you're going to claim that there's absolutely no evidence of them in your life. That's okay. This helps you to be the change. So, as we start the process of claiming our I amness, do it slowly, do it intentionally. Record yourself, audio and video, and play it back. Get used to hearing your I am statements with your voice, not just in your head. Do it intentionally, do it deliberately, and go slow. So, a good goal for your first round of is 25 I am statements. That's not as hard as it sounds. Think of it this way. I'm loving. I'm also loved, right? I'm lovable. I'm forgiving. I'm forgivable. In most of your I am statements, you can use the words in 2 or 3 different ways. So let's recap. Number 1, engage in a community of like-minded people. Number 2, live and work from a place of awareness, not judgment. Number 3, work on yourself, make change a priority. Number 4, write out in detail the person you would need to become to reach your goal. Number 5, write your I am statements. So, number 6 is to anchor your I am statements. And again, do it just this way. Stand in front of your mirror or your camera, look yourself in the eye, and read your I ams out loud. Do it at least once a day. So, none of this is easy. It's hard work to change your thought and behavior patterns. But it's worth it, and you're worth it. So let's practice this a little bit. Think of a couple of I am statements. My favorite one, the one that I use the most, is I am the co-creator. Now, that's important for me because I know that I create along with, I'm a person of faith, so along with God, I create what my life will be. So when I say that statement, I'm going to stand in front of the mirror, and I don't have to have it on my paper anymore, so I don't need to look down and read it, but I look in the mirror and I look myself right in the eye and I say, I am a co-creator. And then I close my eyes and I bring back that feeling of what it feels like to co-create all the wonderful things in my life. And then I open my eyes and I say the next one. Now, you want to do it just this way. Don't look for shortcuts. Don't look for ways to get around this. This is the process that works. And I know it works because I use it and it works. And if you've read the book, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, this is part of the steps that he takes people through. But here's the thing. You need to have some belief in yourself. And this helps you get that belief, even if you're not feeling it right now. When I was focusing on my dream of doing photography as, just being a photographer and not having to do any other business, any other work, this was very crucial for me. I started living photography. So even when I was still working in corporate, my camera went everywhere with me. Now it's easier. You have the have your little phone camera. But I had my big DSLR, and I had the big lenses, I had the big pack, and that went everywhere with me. It was in the car on my way to work. I would leave a little bit early, so if I saw something I wanted to take a picture of, I had time to pull over and do so. I carried it inside. It sat under my desk or in my desk drawer. On breaks and at lunch and all of that, I would get out and I would go take pictures. Now I'd walk around the parking lot. I'd walk around my car. I would, on my hour lunch, I'd go to a park nearby and I would take pictures. That's what photographers do. They take photos. And so that was something I had been doing in my life anyway, but I took it to the next level. And I told myself, this is what it means to be a photographer. And we were creating some training materials at work, and I offered some of my photography to be used in the training materials because, I didn't get paid for it, but my photos were being used for professional reasons. That was another step. And in my head, and in my words, and in my thoughts, and in my feelings, I was constantly, I am a highly paid professional photographer. And after a while, I was able to quit my job and do just that, be a photographer. And I got to do that for 5 years before I had to give it up due to health. And it's important to understand that if you think this doesn't work because your life's not going well, think about the things you're saying in your life right now. If you're saying, I'm stupid, or I'm inefficient, and you're trying to get a promotion at work, what's the verbiage? What's the feeling? What's the emotion that you're putting behind those thoughts? In that job that I worked at where, everybody hated Mondays, for quite a while, I was extremely miserable in that job. And I was very blessed to have as one of my bosses someone who thought very much like this and had obviously done a lot of personal growth work on herself. And she started sharing some of that information with me. And she helped me to take what was a very unpleasant job and turn it into something more like I wanted to do. And so I was able to use my photographs in the training we were doing. I was able to actually create some of the online training programs for that organization. Now, that wasn't what I was hired to do. I was hired to train in person, which was great. I enjoyed doing that. But I also enjoyed doing web-based training. And back in the day, we were using things like Dreamweaver and creating our own websites and doing all of that. And I really enjoyed that as well. And I was able to use my skills from outside of my job to make my job better. So let's take a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break. During the break, write down 3 I am statements. And when we come back, we're going to walk through how to do those. We're going to do them together and know that even though I can't hear what you're saying, you're still putting it out there and I can get that feeling and I can return that to you. So don't go away. We'll be back.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the program today, and I hope you're getting value out of it. And if you do, please give me a like, give me a follow, and give me a share. I really enjoy my Wednesday mornings with all of you, so thanks for making it a great morning. We've been talking about the power of the words I am. And the reason that they are so powerful is because whatever you say after the words I am, your subconscious mind takes as a directive. So when I say I am blessed, and I really am, I'll tell you my story sometime, but I am blessed. My subconscious mind says, you're blessed, let's bring more blessings. And if I say things like, I'm a failure, my whole body changes to match the feelings of those words. And feelings are energy, and the energy that I put out is completely different, and I start getting the things I don't want. So when we were talking earlier, gave the example of talking to people and, when I'm coaching and asking them what their goal is, what is it that they want, and they start telling me all the things they don't want. And I know sometimes it's easier to know what the result you don't want is than it is to know exactly what it is you do want. But you need to use that to hone in on what it is you're going for. Because if we can't decide what it is that we want, then how's the universe, how is God going to give us what we're asking for if we don't know? It's like going to a restaurant. I mean, I suppose you could say to the wait staff, just pick something for me and bring it out. But most people don't do that. And most wait staff aren't going to do that because they want you to have the experience that you want and have the food that you want, and they know nothing about the kind of food that you like. So during the break, I hope you wrote down a couple of I am statements. So let's practice. And keep in mind, when I talk to you in these lessons about writing something down, I'm talking about pen in hand, physically writing it down, because it releases it from here and brings it down to your arm onto the paper. And that makes it real. That makes it alive. It makes it the start of something. When you're typing it on your computer, that's not the same. It doesn't get released. We need to bring it and release it out to God, out to the universe to get it started. That's the first step of things that you do. So I hope you wrote down some I am statements. So let's do this. I want you to, you're looking at here now, so you can look at the screen and look me in the eye as you say your I am statements. So, I am blessed. And then I'm going to close my eyes. I am blessed, and I'm feeling how I feel when I am blessed. And then I'm going to open my eyes, and I'm going to say the next one. I am loved. And then I'm going to close my eyes. I am loved, and I feel how it feels to be loved. I am worthy. I am worthy, and I feel how it feels to feel worthy. And I'm going to do that with all my I am statements. Now, do it at least once a day. And if you can do it twice a day, do it when you get up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. Anchor all of this in. Autosuggestion, which we talked about a little bit, it's a process of repetition. So think about if you played sports. You learned the skill of your sport by practice, by repetition. This is verbal and mental repetition. If you've ever been in a play or you've ever had to memorize something, you learned it by repetition. That's what this is. It's doing it with the feeling of how you want it to be, and you do it over and over until you start to feel it in your whole body and until it starts to become part of you, where maybe you don't have to think about it as much anymore. So I really, really hope that this has been helpful for you today. If it has, please give us a like, give us a follow, and give us a share. And know that if you have a hard time believing in yourself in these areas, send me an email, linda@lovinglifesjourney.com, and tell me what it is you're working on, and I will let you borrow my belief in you as you build your own belief in yourself. I've had countless mentors and coaches do that for me, and it's one of the things I do for my folks. So I hope you have a fabulous Wednesday. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll be back here same time next Wednesday. Have a good one.
This has been Loving Life's Journey with your host, Linda Wilson. From the laughter of children to the wisdom of elders, from the thrill of new adventures to the comfort of cherished traditions, Loving Life's Journey is your invitation to revel in the beauty of everyday miracles and the love that surrounds us all. So tune in, be inspired, and remember to cherish every step of this incredible journey called life. Here on Loving Life's Journey.